champions of the past, we have world champions of the present. Marissa Shields in the building.
Andrew Tate ambushed Jake Paul right on the streets, and truthfully, most people weren't surprised. On December 14th, New York City descended into madness when long-standing tensions between the two finally reached a boiling point. Their encounter wasn't orchestrated, it was a spontaneous run-in. Still, Jake couldn't help himself and tossed a series of outrageous jabs at Tate. What happened next was pure chaos, exactly as Tate had previously warned it could be.
It's clear to me you are desperate for a reality check. This is the hardest sport in the world, and people dedicate their lives to this, and most of them never get a payday. It never pays off for the majority of fighters who would
Jake Paul is notorious for fueling his fame by stirring controversy, whether it's calling out legends like Mike Tyson or strategically picking fighters to preserve his perfect record. But what unfolded on December 14th was far more than another routine provocation. This time, it was Andrew Tate, valued at $710 million and a four-time world champion in kickboxing, who confronted Jake on a busy city street like he had something urgent to prove. And he certainly did just that.
That was Andrew Tate, in all his $710 million.
For those not in the loop, Andrew Tate doesn't do anything halfway. This wasn't some minor run-in or digital feud. Tate stepped straight up to Jake Paul, right there on a hectic street, as a crowd of fans raised their phones to record every second. It was a brutal moment of reality. As for Jake, the swagger he's known for was nowhere in sight. If confidence were a dial, Tate turned his all the way down.
If you want to fight and you want to set a contract, send one to me. I will take a few weeks break from living my retired life to kick the living fuck out of a fucking goofy, fucking entitled dickhead like you. You know my name, Andrew Tate. Fucking Google it if you want to know more. Any day, anytime, let's...
Confidence is the fuel behind Jake Paul's public image, it defines him. From trash-talking his rivals to flashing his lifestyle in front of 20 million followers, that boldness is what markets his fights and elevates his brand. But in that encounter, it was completely absent. Tate wasn't a random critic Jake could dismiss with a one-liner. He wasn't part of Jake's carefully curated list of manageable opponents. He was Andrew Tate playing in an entirely different league.
Come on, work. Let's go. Work. Come on, Marcus. Keep going. Work!
Come on, fight!
Make it. Hey. 50 seconds. Come on, 20 seconds to walk, Steve. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Come on, work. 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 Good. Work. 10 seconds. Work.
Jake's posture gave everything away. Andrew Tate didn't need to get loud or raise a fist, his overwhelming presence and calm, commanding aura said more than words ever could. Jake, usually energized in face-offs, appeared out of his depth. You know things are serious when a man famous for his quick-witted comebacks and non-stop talk finds himself silent.
Yeah, he'll never do that though. He knows. He knows way.
One, he's under contract. And
he's
two,
not his own boss.
And two, he won't do it. He knows better. He might
and it's funny to say like, yo, Conor McGregor is scared of Jake Paul and will never buy.
This wasn't just some spontaneous interaction. Tate's decision to step to Jake had been simmering for months. Jake's reputation was built on targeting legends who had passed their prime, while skillfully ducking truly tough challenges. Tate saw through it all. As someone who's lived and breathed real combat sports, watching Jake pick easy fights had to be infuriating. When Jake had the nerve to label Tate as washed up, that's when the switch flipped.
I'm one of the lucky ones. I made a little bit of money. I don't have 50 million to bet with you, but I do have 3 million to bet with you. So this is your offer. $3 million. You put 3, I put 3. Winner takes all. I'm 5 years out the ring. I'm a kickboxer.
Tate didn't confront Jake Paul for attention. Let's be honest, he's not short on fame. It had nothing to do with money either. He's already well beyond wealthy. This was about making a clear and deliberate statement. In combat sports, honor isn't measured by follower counts or flashy taunts, it's earned by facing genuine competition, something Jake has skillfully dodged for years. Tate wasn't playing around. He came to demonstrate what true respect means in the fight world.
When you see some of these crossover fights, obviously I know that you and Jake Paul have had your disagreements. Do you think that Jake's gotten better as a boxer?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And listen, what Jake Paul has accomplished is he's fighting old guys.
Yes.
He's fighting, all he fights are old guys and whatever. But listen, say what you want, he wins. And he makes money. So he's doing his thing, you know?
What started off as an ordinary December 14th quickly flipped into something unforgettable. Right in the middle of a jam-packed street, Andrew Tate made his move. Spectators circled around them, phones raised, and within minutes the footage was everywhere. Social media lit up with hashtags like hashtag Tate vs. Paul, hashtag Jake Paul exposed, and hashtag respect the game, capturing every ounce of the spectacle. Jake Paul's identity is built on being untouchable, the relentless outsider who constantly shuts down doubters and thrives under pressure. He carved his niche by invading the boxing world and facing off with veteran fighters, using his brash personality to generate buzz. That over-the-top self-confidence, flirting with arrogance, has always been his trademark, driving his predictions, trash talk, and aggressive self-promotion. It's that electric energy that pulls fans in and drives critics crazy. But in the moment Andrew Tate stood across from him, all that flashy confidence vanished. It wasn't just any confrontation, it exposed Jake's carefully manufactured image. His signature smirk, sarcastic lines, and performative cockiness faded into a tense silence that couldn't be ignored. Tate wasn't like Jake's previous rivals, he didn't need the spotlight or a paycheck. His aura came from years of real fighting, not staged theatrics. In that instant, Jake wasn't dealing with a fellow influencer turned fighter, he was standing before a man who personified the spirit of a true warrior. Tate didn't need to raise his voice, his history and presence were more than enough. For Jake, this might have been the first time he truly grasped what it means to be face-to-face with someone who wasn't pretending. This moment cracked the polished surface of Jake's invincible act, proving that behind the flashy persona, he too could be rattled.
Two brothers, one cage. Jake Logan, you Tristan. Who comes out alive?
You know what? I'm trying so hard to not start internet beefs. I'm really trying not to.
You could say Jake and Logan, man.
Bro,
don't worry about it.
No, I can't lie. Bro, I'm going through life. I'm trying to live peaceful now. I've got Fed agents in my house. Matrix is after me. I'm just trying to live peaceful. But of course, I have absolute faith in myself and my brother, and I know what we've been through, and I know the kind of men we are.
Tate didn't have to put on a show, his presence was louder than words. With his imposing frame and elite kickboxing background, there was no need to perform. Meanwhile, Jake was visibly shaken. He tried to clap back like he always does, but this time, his words lacked punch. There was no escape this time through clever talk. Once the footage dropped online, it was a wrap, at least for Jake's ego. The internet exploded with memes on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. From clips comparing him to a kid getting scolded by his father to full-blown mockery of his swagger, it was open season. Tate's following skyrocketed, and even skeptics admitted they respected his unshakable demeanor.
I'm sorry. Look, Andrew, fighter, legitimate, badass motherfucker, strong mentality. Sorry, Tristan Tate is the weak link.
I say let's run
He got a bad shoulder. He's shaped like a gingerbread man. I don't want no beef, but that's delusion.
PFO will set this up.
A MMA double tag team match.
10 million for everybody.
You might have a fight on your hands.
That would go crazy.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. No, seriously.
I'm
let's
about
do
the
it.
action. Like I'm less talk now. Let's just fucking go.
Yo, but you know for a fact, me and Jake will travel to Romania. We will make this happen. We'll do it wherever you want, whatever conditions you want.
The argument erupted. Was Tate justified in confronting Jake in such a public spectacle, or was this yet another case of massive egos using conflict to chase clout in the boxing circus? Opinions were split. Some fans and analysts insisted Tate's move was necessary, a hard reality check that called out the theatrics infecting the sport. They saw him as a defender of boxing's core values, putting someone on blast who they felt climbed the ladder without putting in the real work. For them, Tate's actions weren't driven by vanity but by principle, a stand to protect what fighting should truly represent. On the flip side, critics dismissed the showdown as nothing more than showbiz, just another savvy PR tactic engineered to go viral, boost social reach, and keep both men trending. They argued it had less to do with respect and more to do with marketing, both figures milking controversy to stay relevant. Either way, what mattered was the impact, it wasn't fading fast. The encounter tapped into something deeper, sparking heated dialogue not just in boxing circles but throughout the sports world. It was no longer just about two high-profile names, it had become a debate over where the sport is heading, a tug-of-war between legacy and likes, discipline and drama. The stage was now set for more sparks, more division, and potentially a clash that could leave a lasting mark on both their legacies.
To an old man who's retired. I live in the real fucking world, Jake. There's a whole bunch of fighters out here who live in the real fucking world. Men who are dangerous and dedicated their lives to this sport and don't have a fucking fraction of the money you have because you managed to become a fucking clown.
This was far bigger than a simple face-off between two personalities. It was the collision of two worldviews fighting for control of combat sports' future. Jake Paul stands as the symbol of the new wave, where influence outweighs talent and attention is the real currency. He didn't rise by battling through amateur circuits or fighting seasoned contenders. His path was powered by social media, viral beefs, and marketing genius. His matches focus less on skill and more on spectacle, generating maximum hype and high pay-per-view buys. For Jake, boxing doubles as a business venture and a platform to preserve cultural relevance. In contrast, Andrew Tate embodies the old-school ethos, a warrior shaped by years of hard training, brutal fights, and an unshakable code of respect. His background isn't about fame, but about facing serious competition without the cameras and lights. To him, a fighter earns their place not through likes but through blood, sweat, and grit. His worldview sees fighting as an honor-bound pursuit, not a content game. This confrontation wasn't merely personal, it reflected a deep shift within combat sports. It revealed the tension between showmanship and substance, between using the sport for fame or upholding its values. At its core, this clash represented something timeless, tradition locking horns with transformation, as both sides vied to define what the next chapter of combat sports would look like.
Come on, fight! Make it! Come on, 20 seconds to walk, let's go, let's go, let's go!
Following the confrontation, the internet erupted with non-stop speculation, as social platforms were instantly overrun by memes, arguments, and viral reactions. Supporters and critics alike debated fiercely over what might come next. Would Jake finally accept a fight with Tate, or continue dodging genuine threats as many accused him of doing? Every online interaction, each tweet, post, or comment seemed to amplify the fire, keeping the rivalry not just alive, but boiling. Meanwhile, mainstream media jumped on the frenzy, pushing dramatic headlines like Andrew Tate destroys Jake Paul, Jake's reputation on the edge, and the showdown that could reshape combat sports. Analysts started chiming in, breaking down the incident frame by frame, and podcasts ran wild with theories. This wasn't just another call-out, it had taken on a life of its own, spiraling into a cultural movement. What started as a street confrontation now had the world holding its breath, waiting to see if Jake Paul would answer back or fold under the pressure.
You know what, if I made my money impressing 4-year-olds on YouTube and managed to somehow become a multimillionaire from it, I'd probably live in a dream world too. But let me explain something to you about combat sports. There are a whole bunch of men out here who will never be as famous as you, will never make the money you've made, who would kick the living fuck out.
Jake Paul faced serious fallout in the aftermath. His once unshakable persona took a visible hit, throwing his carefully managed image into doubt. Instantly, critics grew louder, picking apart not only his boxing skills but his entire legitimacy in the sport. His prior wins were now overshadowed by renewed skepticism, casting a cloud over his status as a credible fighter. Meanwhile, for Andrew Tate, it was a clear-cut win, one that earned him massive respect and attention. He didn't just speak out, he acted, solidifying every claim he made about integrity, honor, and what it truly means to be a warrior. This wasn't just a publicity stunt for Tate, it was a defining moment, one that reaffirmed the principles so many believe are being lost in the spectacle-first mentality of modern boxing. Tate didn't just win the moment, he cemented his message and left a lasting impact on both his and Jake's careers, as well as the wider combat sports community.
The best boxer on the planet is?
Jake Paul.
Why?
I mean, who's doing it?
I mean, if Mike Tyson says, let's do this, are you down?
100%.
I'm gonna make Mike my girlfriend. Would you fight Mike Tyson? Again, no, because he's now old, and it would be an absolutely tragic shame to knock out an old version of his prime self. That doesn't feel fair. Prime Tyson would have ripped me apart in a boxing match, so to beat him when he's past his prime is dishonorable, and I'd feel dirty for doing that. So there's no amount of money on the planet that could convince me.
Now, the burning question remains: what lies ahead for Jake Paul and Andrew Tate? Their feud has gone beyond boxing headlines and entered the global spotlight, with fans everywhere demanding a sanctioned bout to end the speculation. Online chatter is non-stop, debates rage, predictions fly, and anticipation is off the charts. Many argue that Jake doesn't stand a chance. Tate's years of real combat experience, his technical skill, and mental steel place him on another level. Yet others believe Jake still has something to prove. His youth, hunger, and rapid improvement as a boxer could surprise everyone. They point to his training discipline and ability to thrive under pressure. But no matter where you stand, one fact is undeniable: if these two ever meet in the ring, the outcome will do more than crown a winner. It will leave a permanent mark on both legacies and could redefine how each man is remembered in the brutal world of combat sports.
I'm known as a fighter in a way that he never will be. I'm known as a fighter in the way that if you throw me in a cell with a murderer, a rapist, and 2 drug dealers, people look at me and go, oh, hey, respect. He would have left with a higher male body count than his fiancée. That's how he would have left.
There's no doubt this rivalry is nowhere near finished. It's evolved past a petty clash into something much deeper, a war driven by ego, reputation, and the fight for validation. Whether it leads to fists flying in the ring or more standoffs online, all eyes will be watching. Fans are hooked, critics are circling, and fellow fighters are tuned in, eager to see where the saga leads next. The spotlight is now fixed on Jake Paul. Will he answer the call, face the challenge, and show real growth and courage? Or will he continue choosing spectacle over true risk, clinging to the spotlight without taking the steps that could earn him lasting respect? As the world watches, the next chapter of this feud could very well decide whether Jake remains an entertainer or becomes a real fighter.
Jake Paul can fight. It's not like Jake Paul can't fight.
Yeah.
Jake Paul just won't fight.
This face-off wasn't just a random viral moment, it was a turning point for Jake Paul, a clear reminder that talking big isn't enough to command real respect. It revealed a widening gap between flash and real skill, between a carefully curated image and true substance in the sport. Andrew Tate didn't need to overdo it, his message was direct: fame means nothing without merit. His point hit hard, echoing far beyond the cameras. He stood as proof that respect in this world is forged through effort, pain, and undeniable talent, not through catchy promos or viral antics. For Jake, this confrontation might become the catalyst for a much-needed realization that to thrive in this arena, he'll need more than hype, he'll need authenticity, grit, and the courage to face real tests.
Like me, he mentioned me before, and there'll be people out there saying, oh, Carl Froch's talking about himself, he's after a payday. Listen, I'm not after a payday. I'm doing all right. There's no problems with my fight.
2 brothers, 1 cage. Jake Logan, you Tristan. Who comes out alive?
You know what? I'm trying so hard to not start impressing 4-year-olds on YouTube and manage to somehow become a multimillionaire from it. I'd probably live in a dream world too. But let me explain something to you about combat sports. There are a whole bunch of men out here who will never be as famous as you, will never make the money you've made, who would kick the living fuck out.
To the fans, this moment meant more than just entertainment. It peeled back the curtain on a growing divide between classic combat sports values and the spectacle-driven wave of modern fame. The clash highlighted how the line between legitimate athleticism and internet celebrity is becoming increasingly hard to define, igniting conversations about what truly matters in the fight game. Some loved the drama, embracing the excitement and chaos. Others saw it as a dangerous shift that disrespects the years of dedication traditional fighters give to their craft. And as for Jake, this might be the jolt he never expected but sorely needed, a wake-up call that success in the ring demands more than bravado. It could push him to rethink his path, sharpen his tools, and finally understand that winning respect takes much more than winning attention. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to TKO Edge for more knockout content. From fight breakdowns to real-time reactions, we've got it all right here. Until next time, stay sharp, stay strong, and keep your guard up.